The presenting sponsor of Upmarket is Aereo, the best place to grow and manage your real estate media business online at aereo.com. That's ARYEO.com. Coming to you from the makeshift Upmarket studio in the beautiful Ojai Valley of Southern California, this is Upmarket, a podcast about the business of real estate photography and media. My name is Reed Fish. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Upmarket Media, and I know we haven't had my other co-founder on in a while. You know what he's doing? He's literally in Australia right now, visiting his family. Taking more time off. That guy takes almost as much time off as me. So hopefully we'll get Mark on for one of these shows. Chelsea is still producing, but not here in my house. Our studio is a little under a construction project right now. So doing it from ye old house here in Ojai. But this is an episode where we are talking about PMRE, because PMRE, the photography and Media for Real Estate Conference, is coming up. It's November 18th through 20th in Las Vegas, Nevada at the Palms Hotel, Casino, and Resort. Go check out PMREconference.com to see the agenda, to get your tickets, to arrange the whole thing. You definitely want to go. And look, I'm actually here right now in the beginning of the show. I want to tell you about one person who's not going to have to buy a ticket, because that person is the winner of the iGUIDE Tour to PMRE thing. Drawing. And here, because we are partnering with iGUIDE once again on our Road to PMRE episodes, and we have Skylar Lawrence LaBelle. You all know him at this point. He has some job at iGUIDE, and he's here to do the grand prize drawing. And Skylar, what exactly is this lucky winner getting?
All right, everyone, a full expenses trip to PMRE 2025. So that's your ticket. That'll be a flight, hotel. I think we're even doing a car service to and from the airport. So
I don't even get a car service.
Maybe we can help you out too this year, Reed. We can take care of you. But really, all expenses paid trip to PMRE 2025.
Woo! All right. So, are you ready to do this? Are we ready to lay it down?
Let's do it. We're going to do a live draw. Maybe we can insert drum roll here.
Yeah, of course. Bethany, drum roll.
And the lucky winner is Blake Kibbe from BMK Images.
Blake Kibbe? Where's BMK Images?
Looks like they're based out of Ontario. And funny
Ontario,
enough, looks like they're
Canada
also
or California?
Ontario, Canada. We're sending a Canadian.
All right. Well, that's good. We need more Canadians at this conference. There's only 5,000 of you there. But that's fantastic. Congratulations, Blake. Thank you for entering. And I know, so the drawings are over, but that shouldn't temper our excitement for PMRE. It doesn't temper my excitement for iGUIDE, of course. And so, Skylar, we want to go to goiguide.com to check out all the stuff that you offer. And it's too late now, but there's still good content coming from the Instagram for iGUIDE, which is go_iGUIDE on Instagram. Thank you to everyone who entered. And Skylar, thank you so much to iGUIDE for doing this once again. This is such a fantastic drawing.
Hey, it's been a pleasure. I think we'll have to see about next year, but bring it back for maybe year 3.
Oh, sounds fine to me. All right. Well, and speaking of PMRE, this is a Road to PMRE episode, so we're going to foist another of the speakers from PMRE on you all today. It is Jared Bauman, the CEO and founder of 201 Creative. And Jared, I know probably many people are finding this podcast because I'm really great at SEO. Just kidding. I don't know. I'm really bad at SEO. You, however, are an SEO expert. Why are we still talking about SEO at this point for our businesses?
Yeah, the old SEO is dead kind of trope is making a good comeback. We get that about every 5 years or so. Something comes along and makes it seem like we don't really need this SEO thing anymore. But certainly SEO, search engine optimization, optimizing for ranking your business in the search engines is changing and evolving. A lot of people of late have asked the question of, is SEO relevant because of AI? Because people are ChatGPT and all that. The flip side of it is ChatGPT is great. People love to use it, but it's only taken about 0.5% of the actual search traffic in terms of clicks, and it's not driving much in terms of conventional search. And the data is showing that a lot of people that use ChatGPT also use Google. to still find stuff. So we still are at a point where SEO is very relevant and probably will be going forward. We can talk more about it, but that's the data.
Yeah, well, and I would think with SEO for business, for our listeners in our businesses, real estate media businesses, these are all like, for the most part, very local businesses, right? And I just don't think that anyone is in their mind being like, let me go to ChatGPT to see what local business I want to use. I mean, maybe somebody is, but so I do think, for localized search, I see SEO to me seems pretty important. However, the one thing that I see as kind of a threat and I don't know, is how to put it, but like, I know when I do Google searches now, they kind of suck. And I mean, I'm I guess a little bit pro AI in certain ways, but I'm kind of anti AI in many ways. The AI garbage at the top is mostly garbage. I mean, it's like, it's kind of wrong a lot of the time. And that's what is being pushed on us and pushed and pushed and pushed. So how are we dealing with SEO? How are we dealing with all this, the AI search bots and stuff?
Well, there's no doubt Google results have gotten worse. I mean, I don't really necessarily, I have data points I could point to, but the general sentiment by people in the industry and out of the industry is that the results have gotten worse over the last, call it 5 years or so. And there's reasons for that. But the reality is what you just described is kind of something that a lot of people feel, and it's a problem. And I think that the best way to look at this as a business owner, because we've got to some degree shelve our patterns of use for looking at what's best for a business. And a lot of times people want to have this debate that you're having right now and then make decisions accordingly, AI versus SEO. They're both important as we go forward, and they're going to both be important for a period of time. How long? I don't know. We don't really know how this all plays out. It's changing very rapidly, but certainly for right now, there's a strong use case for a lot of people using conventional search to make decisions about what business to select. And there are people who are starting to use an LLM, a ChatGPT, a Claude, a Copilot to also help them navigate that decision process, partly because of how you described it. Like, there is something that's more user-friendly about a chat environment versus this kind of junk we get in the results on Google sometimes. But they're both relevant. They're both important. And I'm talking about both at the PMRE conference.
Because I know some people, and maybe not as much for real estate photography, but I know if I'm searching a restaurant, I'm searching on Google Maps sometimes just for a restaurant. So is SEO going to help us pop up on like the maps or, whatever these kind of extensions are that people are searching?
Yeah, great question. And that's actually really relevant, because in many ways, there's two types of results for a local query. And you identified both of them in that conversation. There's what we call the map pack. And you'll see that in traditional search, even if you don't go into Google Maps, even if you just go to Google and you type like, hey, I'm looking for a real estate photographer near me. I'm looking for a real estate photographer, Santa Fe, New Mexico. I'm looking for photography. And so you'll get, whenever you add something that localizes the query, you'll more often than not, 99% of the time, get a map pack there in your desktop or phone browser. And that's the map pack. And that works off the map algorithm, which is different, although related, to the organic search results, the top 10 links, as it were called, the first page of Google. They're both relevant. You can show up in both. You can be number one on the map in that area, in that the area of location, and you can also show up in the results on the organic listings. And both have different priorities in terms of how we optimize. We optimize mostly for the map pack around reviews and around your Google business profile. And then we optimize for the organic listing with a more traditional SEO approach of content, links, and on target metrics, on page metrics.
Yeah, that was what was going to come up, is like, it feels like on maps, it's like really, it almost seems user driven more, where it is more of the reviews. Now, when we have reviews as a business, is that helping us in our organic search as well? Or yeah, it is. Okay. Yeah,
it is. It is. Certainly, you're going to see it really play itself out more in the map pack, but they're working together. They're working off similar principles, right? When you're searching in a map pack, when you're ranking in a map pack, Google wants to surface the best businesses available. And when you're ranking in organic search, Google wants to surface the best businesses available. They're going to pull from different things, yes, because one's very proximity based. It's the map. It's literally based a lot on where you're at when you make that search. But yes, certainly there is going to be a lot of the similar factors, and reviews are a huge factor. And tying it to AI, reviews are probably even more important in AI. We're seeing an LLM, we're seeing a ChatGPT really rely heavily on companies that have a lot of reviews and are good.
Yeah, no, and I feel like I've seen that, like, when it was, I don't know, a year ago. I don't really personally use ChatGPT. I know Chelsea, who works with us, does like to use it for certain things. But just like, hey, who's the best real estate media provider in Ventura, California? And then Upmarket will come up. And then it says, well, they're known for this and that. And it's, it's exactly cribbed from, our reviews from our customers. So, that does feel like the review. I mean, reviews are like just social proof. I mean, I feel like that's like the biggest thing is like, once people see and especially in the real estate, other successful realtors are leaving positive reviews for this company. Well, we got to use them.
And we've heard it before, but how often are we actually spending time each week prioritizing those reviews and getting those?
We do it all the time. So
good. You're one in 100.
Yeah, well, and we in one of our sponsors, Pixel CRM, shout out Pixel CRM. We use that CRM, and there is a review not generator in there, but it's the prompt after the shoot to, hey, come leave a review, and it's like our reviews exploded after that, and and we're at I don't know over 100. I don't even know how many we are at this point, but it's way more than anyone else in our area. So that's been a real that's been a real good thing for us. We know we need SEO still. So how are we putting that? How are we doing it? Like, what's the nuts and bolts thing, right? Because I think of it as like, you need to have text on every single page on your website, and the text should be having, these keywords or, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. But is there also kind of the, and I'm sorry, I don't know the term, but there's the underlying text or the hidden, hidden text? I can't remember what it's called. I mean, are we looking at what?
Meta descriptions. Yeah.
Yeah. Like we're having to do all of that, right? It's still kind of the same as it's been for a while.
Best practices still remain best practices, right? Like at its core, SEO is about, having content on your website that speaks around the general and specific topics that you are an expert in. And so that's where keywords come in. That's where we use the term keywords. There's the broad keywords, a real estate photographer, Santa Fe, New Mexico, back to my example. But there's also the very specific keywords, like, I won't get into like naming specific keywords, but there's these long tail keywords. And we're trying to talk about them in a way that positions us as the expert, that showcases both the user and the search engine, that we know what we're talking about. And then we're trying to get mentioned around the web, and I always tell people, like, you talked about looking for restaurants. So let's use that as an example, because that's a great example. Like if you're new to an area, let's say you flew in for the PMRE conference, you got there the night ahead of time, you're not from Las Vegas, and you're like, I just want to go grab a quick bite to eat, and you open up Yelp. Well, Yelp is going to prioritize restaurants that have a combination of a lot of reviews and good reviews. And then you can start to search and say, I want, Mediterranean cuisine, right? And then that's going to help them filter and parameter base. And they're going to be able to understand Mediterranean restaurants, both from how you tag and classify your restaurant, but also by how you talk about your restaurant in your description, and by the reviews that people leave. And so if we think about it that way, we're trying to get mentioned online. We're trying to get our brand talked about, not only in reviews, but also in terms of PR, in terms of inclusion in other podcasts and other types of media, inclusion online. We want as many of those things linking back to us so that the search engines can understand that. And then that also helps drive that authority or that recognition in Google's eyes. It's a lot of the same stuff, but it's nuanced, and it does change, and different things become different priorities. Now we have a lot of advancements in terms of AI, but also advancements in terms of how Google understands content and understands authority and stuff. And so it is always changing, but the basics, the best practices still remain.
Okay, so if we want to be, so us appearing on other people's websites helps our search, helps us rank higher in search.
Quite a bit. We call this link.
Oh, yeah, the link back. Yeah.
The links, right? The backlinks and all that. And that has historically been Google's number one ranking factor, I'll say. There's a lot of ranking factors.
Well, and does it have to be, and I guess that was more my question, because I think I did know that about the linking, but if someone even just mentions, so if a realtor say, on their homepage, they say, oh, part of our team is Upmarket Media, they do amazing work, but they don't link back to us. Does that help?
Mm-hmm. It does help. Yeah. Not as much, because there isn't as much of that tracking capability, right? Google can look at the link and go, when they say this podcast, they mean this podcast. And I can directly correlate that authority and stuff. And a lot of it also has to do with the fact that earning a backlink, getting a link, is one of the most difficult things to sort of manufacture, if you will. And so it's historically been something that Google can look to as a sign of authority that is a little bit harder to fabricate, or these sorts of things.
Right. Well, we could just make websites for fake realtors and, link back
it's
to
all been
their
done.
photographers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Trust me, every one of these things has been done before. We can go back to the PBN days. PBNs are still around, for the record. These are all
what's a PBN?
Private blog network, kind of what you talked about. Like, hey, if I need links, why don't I just make my own website and link back to myself, And so these things have all been to some degree tried and worked on and stuff like that. And if that's your bend, that's one thing or another. But generally speaking, as an agency, we're trying to help you do it in a way that's going to be long-term success. And so you're trying to get that authority in an earned way. And that's really the best way to look at it. You'd want to do that with your business. You want to build your business the right way from the foundational point up.
Well, so you are an agency that does, SEO for people. What if, we're kind of not too successful yet, real estate media company, where we can't afford to have an agency come in and do that kind of stuff? How do we think about it for our own? If we're kind of tinkering with our own websites, if we're kind of, if we're kind of bootstrapping this, do you have any advice for those kind of people?
Yeah, I mean, the great thing about being a real estate photographer or a real estate videographer is that you're creating media for a living, and I work with a lot of clients. Like, one of my clients I was on a call with before we did our podcast is a lawyer, and they're not creating, multimedia for a living. And so Google loves multimedia. Ranking factors, one of them is the ability to create video or imagery and then use it, whether it's on your website or in, the Google business profile. So one thing specifically talking to real estate photographers is that to understand that, having that media and being able to showcase that on your Google business profile and frequently using it is a tool that you have that other businesses don't necessarily have as easily. So I would say first and foremost, going back to the basics though, is get your Google business profile set up properly, get it optimized. And by optimized, we mean, take advantage of all the features in there and make sure that you optimize each of those features. But specifically the multimedia section is an area that Google really likes to look at and reward. And so take full advantage of Google Business Profile and the media part, the photos part, the multimedia part.
Great advice. I'm going to digest that advice for a few minutes here, and let's take a little break. Let's come back. We'll do social media sidebar. Then we're going to talk about PMRE, actually, because we haven't even really mentioned that, what you're going to be doing there exactly. And then we're going to end this thing with a couple action items. So stick around, everybody. I mean, geez, the new features that are just coming in on Aereo all the time are blowing me away. I mean, obviously, I think a lot of people I know are talking about all these integrations with Zillow 3D and the like. I know we've been selling a lot of Zillow 3Ds to our clients and integrating in with Aereo. And also now, we're getting high-res photos and our branding up on Zillow when our photos are there on those showcase listings. So please go check out Aereo. There's all that, but there's so much more. Obviously, you can do your billing, you can do your delivery for your photos, you can send, so, I mean, look, I run out of things to talk about. I don't know how I can, because I feel like I've said them all. There's so many amazing things about Aereo. It makes our life easier every single day we use it. It's kind of an all-in-one platform for managing your business on the back end and the customer-facing end with their white label services. So, you create websites for your clients. You do all this stuff. It's Aereo.com, ARYEO.com. Check them out and use the code Upmarket. And if you use the code Upmarket and you're a new user, you're going to get 15 free bonus listings. Go get that free money. Come on, go for it, people. So, now I'm kind of a single guy, so I go out clubbing. I go to nightclubs now, scoping out hot chicks. Sorry, cut that. Jesus, what am I doing? I like to go clubbing. Every weekend I'm out clubbing, and I'm out there shaking my booty, dancing. I mean, you know how I love to dance. There's just one problem. I run into stuff. I don't know, I walk into these clubs, they're dimly lit, and I have no idea where stuff is. And I'm bumping into people, but sometimes I'll bump into a pillar or the bar. And, because I'm a wild dancer. And I feel like if before I could go to one of these hot, cool nightclubs that I go to, if I could only have a floor plan of that before I go, I could plan out my dancing better, because I don't want you to injure yourself on the dance floor like I've injured myself and 14 other people. Social media sidebar time. Of course, we are Upmarket Pod across all social media, and our flagship upmarket.media on Instagram, so you can see all the stuff we're doing. We actually have a social media manager now for Upmarket, so our social media is getting better all the time, and I'm even letting her work on this a little bit. So I think you might even see more content from the old podcast here. And so I'm Reed Fish, LYSM, personally on Instagram, and check out my other podcast, ILYSM, I Love You So Much. We're on Instagram and YouTube. Would love for you to check that out. And Jared, where are we finding you?
Yeah, the two most common places for me are on LinkedIn and on LinkedIn and Twitter, or X. My name for both of them, Jared Bauman.
Wow.
And so, yeah.
It's still rocking the Twitter. All right.
Not as much these days, to be fair. Not as much these days.
It sucks now, man.
There's a bit of LinkedIn is more of, LinkedIn has its own challenges too, but yeah.
Yeah, sure.
A little bit more of a community there.
Okay, but then but you're not active on Instagram at all? Because I feel like for real estate media people, Instagram and probably TikTok to a lesser extent are really our bread and butter, where we're connecting with clients socially. So for your business, you're not on there, but
no.
Are there any tricks that you know of, though, for us as we grow our Instagram? I mean, is there some of these same principles of keywords and SEO for, within the Instagram ecosystem?
Oh, for sure. And I think that, my client base does not hang out on Instagram, so it wouldn't be a good use of my time. I'm working with business owners. I'm working with small and medium-sized business owners. So I'm working with your local plumber. I'm working with your local photography company. I'm working with your attorney. I'm working with these people, and they're hanging out on Instagram for fun, but they're not looking to consume content about helping their business grow on Instagram. But if you look at it, Instagram is an algorithm, and ranking on Google is an algorithm. And understanding that each algorithm is tuned to keep people on the platform, and then understanding how they monetize and how they make their money. And then that's going to help you at least understand the premise of it. And I think a lot of people, when they go to use Instagram, because I talk to clients about this, we don't help them with their Instagram, but most of my clients have a presence on Instagram, because most of them are B2C, connecting with consumers. So it's important to them. And I see so many people trying to move people off that platform, right? And this happens also on YouTube, and it happens also on Facebook. And when you're in a social media environment, one of the biggest problems is that you're going against the algorithm if you're trying to move people off that platform.
Right.
And the opposite is true as well. If your content is keeping people involved on the platform, is keeping people engaged in the platform, then the algorithm is going to reward that. And I know it's a very high level thought, but I think a lot of times I see my clients get tripped up over that. They're like, we're not driving traffic from our social media. And I remind them like, hey, your primary goal with social media is not to drive traffic back to your website. And if that's your goal, you're pushing against the algorithm, and it's going to be an uphill battle the entire way.
Yeah, and I think what we've seen in the podcasting realm, and we're starting to do it here at Upmarket, but I have, my other podcast has a kind of a bigger production team with more experience, and so we are doing about like 3 clips a week, and we're putting clips up, and those do not link back to anything else, and we're just trying to drive engagement on those clips. And then we will post a story, and because on Reels and regular posts on Instagram, you can't even link to outside sites. And so it's really when you're doing a story that then you can put the link up. So we'll say, it'll be like, oh, here's this clip, watch the full episode on YouTube, and there's the link. And even that is not, we have clips that are getting, 400,000 views, and that does not translate to tons and tons of views or downloads on the platforms. But it is driving a lot of engagement on those clips. I mean, it's a net win, but you're like, we got 400,000 views. How are we not getting 10,000 downloads on our podcast?
It's amazing, right?
Yeah. And you're like, because I know there's something in that clip that people like because they're engaging with it and they're watching the whole thing. So why aren't they making the leap?
And that's not to say you can't include the occasional link here or occasional link there. It's just, it's not about one or the other. It's just a mindset, and it just goes back to building an overall brand, back to what I do, SEO and online marketing. Like, it's very important, but it's a part of building the overall brand, and it's not the entire brand. And social media is really, really important nowadays. This is where people go to consume content. This is where people go to do research. I mean, TikTok is a search engine. YouTube is the number 2 search engine next to Google. Yeah. And so like, it's very important, and it's just important to understand that these are algorithms as well. And you need to understand these algorithms just the same as you need to understand the search algorithm in order to succeed on these platforms.
Yeah. And I think that's the smart way to look at it. And I know on this show, and I think just kind of anecdotally when we talk to people, at PMRE or, other creators around, is we're really hyper focused on the social media side. And what doesn't get talked about as much is the SEO side and all of that. So I think even taking that kind of that mindset of SEO and taking that to the social media, it works. And obviously I can really see why, Brandon's having you out to speak. And so let's talk about that, but let's talk about it after we take this short break. We're going to talk about PMRE, what's going to happen there, and then we are also going to end this thing with action items. Oh, yeah. We all know we're partnering with our friends at iGUIDE for our Road to PMRE episodes. And come on, man, what would this be without Skylar, Lawrence, LaBelle in here? And Skylar, I have something I want to talk to you about. It's something I hate. I just truly hate monthly fees. That can be like giant monthly fees, like where I'm spending like hundreds of dollars a month, like for like other sponsors of ours. But, I hate, forking out the dough. Like, I just want to pay when I'm actually able to sell something, that I mark up. So how does iGUIDE approach that?
I mean, we take the same philosophy of where you're at there, Reed. We are a paper project. So it's pay per what you shoot, and you're paying us when you're getting paid. So for many of our operators and, business owners, it fits exactly what they're looking for.
Oh, yeah, because I mean, every month is a drain because, if you do one 3D tour or 20, it's the same. I have to pay a lot. So, and
the other nice thing, what we hear all the time is the fact that you own the data as well. So there's none of this confusion around data ownership and who has it with iGUIDE. You own it. You could self-host if you so choose. I mean, we, some are doing that, but we also at this point don't charge for hosting, but ability to self-host, download it. You can do with it what you see fit. But paper project, and your data ownership sits with you.
I know. Well, I know our listeners really want to own their stuff. So I think that's a really, really big draw. Yeah. So Skylar, we're going to go to goiguide.com, right? We can learn all about that. Check it out. Order one of those fancy Planix Pro R1 cameras. I'll figure it out.
Just mine too. But the information. Fine.
Yeah. Don't take it for. I am not a tech guy, so we know that by now. Skylar, thank you so much again for everything. We're so happy to be working with you all again this year. I do want to take a moment to tell you about Fotello. AI. Oh boy. Look, I'll be honest, I got mixed feelings about AI, but there's no question that in the editing side of things, AI for photos is kind of getting out of control in not the worst way. The quality that's coming out of Fotello, which is an ethically generated AI photo editing, the quality is just so killer. It is unbelievable, and your photos are ready in just minutes. So look, there's consistent high quality edits every time, and the pricing is very affordable. It's as low as $12 per listing. That's not per photo. That's just per listing. So you can have 10 photos, 20 photos, 30 photos, 40 photos, 70 photos, however many photos it takes for that listing, you're going to get them all for $12. And if there is any sort of issue, look, it's AI. We all know AI can mess up sometimes, but they have a team of humans. I love humans too. And you can request a revision, and those are available within 6 hours. So your timelines are not going to get crunched if there is some stuff that is a little more tricky. So Fotello, we love these guys, Harmon over there. They're very responsive. They're always upgrading the system. The leaps that it's made, even since we've kind of known them in the last few months, has been incredible. So if you go to fotello.co, and that's FOTELLO.co, and if you are a new user and you use the code Upmarket25, you're going to get 25 free listings. So that's like a $500 value right there. So please get in there, fotello.co. Is coming up, and once again, go to PMRE conference. If you do not have your ticket yet, get in there, get those tickets, book your travel. It is coming up, people, and you don't want to miss it. November 18th through 20th at the Palms Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, and we're here still with Jared Bauman. Right. Now I'm in my head on your name. Like, I was pronouncing it wrong beforehand, and then now I'm like, wait, it's wrong. Of a 201 Creative. Jared, you're going to be on the main stage there at PMRE. You're going to be talking about SEO, but can you get a little more without giving away the talk? Can you kind of get into what you're going to talk about?
Yeah, we've all gone to an SEO talk before. I think at this point, unless you're brand new in business, you've probably gone to a conference, probably gone online, gotten the SEO talk, and perhaps that's about where it's ended for you, or perhaps you've put a little effort towards it. But I have found that for the most part, there's a couple things that are generally true about small business owners and specifically real estate photographers. I have a background in photography, not real estate photography, but in, corporate commercial event photography. And SEO tends to be the thing that does not get to the top of the list most weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we kind of have this constant battle with, I'm not doing enough when it comes to ranking my business. And the flip side of that is SEO is always changing, and is probably changing at a more rapid rate than ever before. So we have this dichotomy where business owners aren't doing enough, and it's changing so fast that there tends to be this split. So really what I want to do in my talk is, yes, talk about SEO, but talk about what's changing, talk about what's coming up, and really just boil it down into, hey, let's get this stuff done today. Like if you need to If you need to do some work on your SEO, if you're falling a bit behind, let's make this really simple in terms of what can we do right now? What can you do to get back on track? What is working right now? Where are the important things right now? What's the signal? What's the noise?
Right. All right. Well, that's good. Well, and the nice thing, and it's done for a reason. I mean, PMRE really comes at kind of the some people the further north are probably in it even more, but it comes really at our slow season, at the beginning of our slow season. So whenever we are at PMRE, it's such a great environment for soaking up stuff and learning stuff. And then hopefully we all have a couple months where we can actually put some of this stuff in action. And I know, we walk away every year energized and being like, yeah, we're going to do this for our business. And then do we always end up doing that? I mean, no, but we can dare to dream. This is going to be the year though. We're going to get our SEO. Upmarket's going to get our SEO house in order. I can just tell. I mean, do you travel a lot and give a lot of presentations, or is this kind of like a special thing because Brandon, you have a relationship with Brandon?
Oh, boy. I used to travel all the time and give presentations all the time, and I hardly do it anymore. I say no to it almost all the time. I host a weekly podcast.
Right.
And so
what's your podcast called?
Niche Pursuits podcast. So it's all about growing online businesses and kind of learning different tactics to grow an online business. And so, that takes a good amount of effort. We were talking about, podcasting in general. It's certainly has a lot going for it. And so I got a young family and just have started to say no to the speaking opportunities. But there was a day where I was on the road every week speaking. I did a national speaking tour, international stuff. So yeah, it's definitely been something I've done a lot of over the years. Today, this year, 2025, you can decide if you're lucky or not, but I'm not given too many traveling presentations. And so, this will be fun for me. Vegas is close and Brandon's a good friend. So those two things factored in as well.
Yeah. No, for sure. Well, and if you haven't been before, PMRE is pretty great, pretty fun. And just a great environment for learning stuff. So, okay, you're not going to be jitters. Your presentations, I think it's going to be good. Okay. So I feel much better. Not that I was feeling bad, but I feel good.
You worried I was going to get nervous up there?
Yeah. You might. I don't know. It's a big room. They got some flashing lights there at the Palms. I mean,
you still get the palms sweating a little bit right before you go out there.
Oh yeah.
That always happens.
I've done it. Yeah, but it makes you feel alive, man. It feel alive. For our listeners who maybe aren't going to be at PMRE, like what's is there one thing, what's the biggest piece of advice, I guess, you can give a small business owner about SEO and about all this stuff?
The biggest piece of advice is that it still matters. There's so much noise around this topic. You kind of introed and started it, but if I give you a big piece of advice, it's don't stop working on your organic rankings. And that's almost seems very meta of me to say, but like the noise is all around what's coming and what's changing. And the signal still says that SEO matters and is going to matter for a period of time. AI is going to matter too, for the record. Both can exist in the same sentence. Both can exist at the same time. And a lot of the factors, not all of them, but a lot of the factors that help you rank in an LLM are similar to what we do to rank in SEO. Build a brand, get mentioned as much as you can in as many locations and places as you can. Have people talking about your business. Now, the practical aspects of how we do that on a day-to-day basis, that's the nuts and bolts of SEO. But from a high level, don't pay attention to all the noise unless there's a signal there. And SEO still matters. And so still spend that time optimizing, still spend that time getting your brand out there, because it does still have value.
Yeah. I mean, that feels very daunting to me. I mean, anything where it's, I just want one goddamn thing in life where it's like, I feel like I'm finished. Like, oh, I accomplished this task and I'm done. All right. Way to go. We built that website. Yeah. But that's just not how life works.
It's not. No, it's not.
And I think one of the things, I guess the other thing that I would like to bring up about the AI aspect of this is like, okay, we're talking about, kind of quote unquote ranking in LLMs, but also like, what about AI kind of being used to game SEO? And, how are we with bad actors coming in and wanting to, I don't know, come in and be a competitor to us, and how are we? It's like an arms race, right? So how are we kind of staying on top of that, and what's going to be the use case for AI in terms of generating SEO?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people will talk about this from the standpoint of, do I need to publish content on my website anymore because ChatGPT
do we need
just
blogs?
It?
Yeah.
Do we need blogs anymore? All that kind of stuff. And what I would say is, if you're just going to go to ChatGPT or to Claude and have it generate a blog post for you, and you're going to copy and paste it onto your blog, probably don't want to bother. Probably a waste of your time.
Okay.
However, play that out. And the more businesses that lean into that, then the more that genuine, valuable content with expertise, with real world examples, with actual images, all these multimedia facets, the more that's going to actually stand out. And so that's it on a micro level. On a macro level, we've always dealt with spam on the internet since the beginning of time. And there's always been a very, very fractured relationship with the internet and spam. And that's probably going to continue because AI makes spam easier. You talked about how Google's results have gotten worse over the last couple of years. Well, they're also getting completely bombarded with tons of junk content that is AI generated and put out there, right? They're getting new pages on the internet at record rates that they've never seen before. Remember, they have to crawl all this stuff. They have to crawl it and decide what to rank and what not to rank. Every single time they crawl a page, that costs them money. And so there's a lot that they're trying to figure out. And while I can be critical of maybe the rankings and what is getting surfaced, and I am critical about it, come listen to my podcast and you'll hear us talk about that a lot. We can be critical, but also somewhat understanding that spam will be an issue and is going to be an issue. But it doesn't really take away, even if you have a bad actor in your city, it doesn't mean you're going to stop doing the things you need to do to grow your business. You've just got to be aware that that's something that's happening. And yeah, it is happening, but it's been happening for a long, long time.
And what about, is there, when we are making new pages on our website, is there an advantage to having video? Because I feel like, we're in a place where video, is what we're telling our clients. And again, it's usually in the guise of social media, is having yourself as your business owner, on screen, doing stuff, in video really helps engagement. It really helps all this stuff. Are we finding that having video content on our website is helping in the SEO game, or is that just kind of just one more, is it the same as a photo?
I think video is helping in the SEO game, and I think video is helping in the small business game, and I think video is helping in your social media game. I think video is very, very powerful, and a lot of people aren't using it. So let's talk about it from an SEO standpoint. From an SEO standpoint, getting a video on your page is going to be one of the biggest factors that you can do to increase time on page, to increase the amount of time someone's spending on the page. We do know to some degree that time on page is something that Google pays attention to. We've surmised about it for a long time because when we, as SEOs, look at, hey, what does move the needle? We see that some of these user metrics, time on page, bounce rate back to the SERPs, these sorts of things, they seem to have an impact, but it's hard to judge those things because we don't necessarily see a one-to-one. Well, in the antitrust lawsuit, Google had to disclose some things, some documentation, and we saw in that. We've also seen in leaks from the algorithm that it does have an impact. So we know that video increases time on page and creates a more sticky user. We know that those are things that Google likes and rewards in the rankings. So yes, video does help. I would say because of the cause and effect, maybe not directly. It's not like put a video, Google goes, good, +1 for you. It has an impact, but it's because of the spillover effect, the waterfall effect. However, an even bigger impact is let's talk about your client and they are evaluating 3 or 4 different real estate photographers. Chances are, if you start including video in your blog, on your website, on your homepage, on your service pages, on your landing pages, you're going to be one of the few that includes video. And so if they're comparing you up against 3 or 4 others, chances are a video is going to be one of the things you can do to stand out from your competition and create a real buy-in that they won't get from text or from photos.
Right.
And then we know the benefits of publishing video on social media. Instagram has moved to a video first model many years ago. YouTube, number 2 ranked search engine, number 2 most utilized search engine. We're like, video is where social media has gone. I used to say is going. Well, it's gone there. So and so like, how do we use video? So yeah, I'd say video on all those different fronts I just kind of touched upon.
Interesting. Now, and then are we, one of the things that just popped in, this may be an irrelevant question, but as we're making video for our company, we're shooting a lot of it vertically, right? Because that's the format for Instagram and TikTok. But I feel like vertical videos don't work that great on websites, and maybe on mobile websites it does. But like when you see a vertical video like on a web page, it just feels wrong somehow. Yeah. And I don't know. And maybe I'm talking to all these photographers and we're all like have the horizontal mindset, but is something like that going to matter? I mean, I almost would say maybe we need like different content for our website than we're actually putting on our socials.
I think so, generally. I mean, I think a vertical video is probably better on your website than no video. I think a horizontal video is probably better than a vertical video. I think, again, it's about knowing your audience and your medium. When someone is on TikTok, they're looking to be entertained. More so than when they're on your website. When they're on your website, they're looking to learn, make a decision, something like that. And so understanding, and I'm being generalistic, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Different web pages on your website serve different purposes. Different videos on TikTok serve different purposes. But generally speaking, understanding what each user is doing when they are engaging with that specific content will help inform the decision about specifically here, what type of video, what type of format, how long, what's the content that we're placing on our website versus TikTok or Instagram.
All right, Jared, I think we're going to wrap up here pretty quick, but are you, I mean, how deep in the AI weeds are you? And do you have like any advice for us, and like maybe a simple way where we can use ChatGPT or something else to grow our business? Is there anything? And these aren't action items, so you're not off the hook, but I do want to know if there are some things that you have advice on.
I mean, yeah, we're deep in AI at our agency. I talk about it every week on the podcast. We have an AI expert on staff on our team at the agency, very much part and parcel with what we're doing and everything. So yeah, in terms of, infiltrating into the AI world, and everyone's at different stages. Like I bet at PMRE, I am gonna ask for show of hands, get a pulse for the crowd, right? I can't do that here on the podcast, but I always try to cater my AI topic around where is everyone? Because online marketing in general, that's been around for 25 years now, so that's not something necessarily new. 30 years, but AI is so new, and but. You talked earlier on the podcast about, man, I just feel like I can never get anything done. I never have anything done. There's always this long list, and I'm always having to continually work on stuff. Well, AI can be a big tool to help you with that sort of thing. And a lot of us are very used to the chat style with AI. And so we'll be like, hey, summarize this email. Hey, respond to this email, and I'll edit it. And those are all great use cases. But I think there's a lot of other things that AI can really do for you and help you. And a lot of that is in the branding side of things. I've found that a lot of business owners, small business owners, photographers, they don't have a branding or marketing background. And so sitting down and having an exercise, almost like setting aside an hour or two to use an AI tool, an LLM, to help you better brand and position yourself, is one of the best exercises you can do for your business. And you want to start having conversations in a back and forth environment to get them up to speed on you, your business, what you do on a day-to-day basis for your clients, how you interact with them, and start to talk to it in a way where you can get feedback on how you're positioning. Because positioning is really important. As a real estate photographer, for example, there's no shortage of competition. I mean, I can say that about almost any industry, but there's no shortage of competition. And so this is not SEO related, for the record, but if you're just saying, I'm a real estate photographer, I'm a high quality real estate photographer, I get you fast turnaround time, like you're just selling your features, you're just selling the things you do, and you'll get clients. People will refer you and stuff. But if you can figure out how to position yourself in a way that makes you stand out and be unique, that will increase the amount of people that want to hire you. a lot of us used to have to hire expensive consultants for that. I can speak from experience from running businesses for a long time. And so using AI for more than just making you faster at tasks, but actually treating it as though it can be a consultant for you in different areas, specifically in this example, in branding and positioning, can really give you a leg up in areas that used to cost people a lot of money to have to hire someone or become an expert in.
Okay. So, all right. We can use it to take someone else's consulting job away from them. I get it. Okay, good. Perfect. Oh, man, AI, it's just a double-edged sword, man. I just feel every time I use it, I feel kind of guilty.
You won't get the same. I mean, it's the same as what we've been doing for a long time. It is. I mean, we could wade into that, and that's.
Yeah. No. I mean,
there's no doubt that AI is creating moral conflicts with content publishers around the world. And
it absolutely is. I mean, I know a lot of people are using AI editors, and it's, it's great. And we have one as a sponsor, and it's great, and I love them. They're great. But, there's the human cost to it too. And it's like, it's putting a lot of editors out of work. And so it's just that, again, it's that double-edged sword. And I'm like, it's just like, I don't quite know where I fall on it. And, I love the convenience too, but then all of a sudden,
I think it's okay to be wrestling with it and continually wrestling with it. I think it's okay to understand and lean into the fact that there's both sides of the coin. To some degree, we understand and recognize that this is something that is here and it's going to be here to stay. And there are a lot of problems with how we got here with it. And I think it's okay to acknowledge both those things at a similar moment in time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And I think, and one of the moral dilemmas is like, you're like, okay, well, this is helping me. It's saving me money. When is it going to help someone else eliminate me to save my cost? And that's, it's really a different conversation, but just to cap it is like, when we do think about our businesses and we think about how AI impacts, I think we always need to be and want to be looking for the angles that make us indispensable. That make us non-replaceable by some sort of AI mechanism. So, we always want to be kind of we want to be trying to think ahead and make sure that, we are essential to our clients. So, and that's going to be stuff like face-to-face customer service and all the types of the stuff that AI cannot do. There's probably going to be some device at some point that's going to be able to just, someone's going to place it in a home and it's going to be able to, get every single angle, every single photo in the house. And, someone's got to place it in the home though. So it's, hopefully us.
Yeah. I think it's good, again, to go back to what makes you unique, because at the end of the day, there's always a segment of the population that wants the cheapest, the easiest, the fastest. But there's also a segment of the population that craves and wants to hire, to work with, to engage with people, with businesses that they connect with.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And, selling your unique proposition and that's really the only way to go. And, and if you're catering your SEO to that, I think, all the better. And you know what? All that takes action. So that means it's time for our action items.
Our action items today are sponsored by Pixel CRM, the only CRM that is made by a real estate photographer for real estate photographers and media professionals. It's an amazing tool, fully fleshed out. You can do so many things with Pixel CRM. I urge you to check it out. It's Pixel CRM. That's PIXL CRM.com. And if you add right after that.com, if you add a little /Upmarket, you're going to be able to get a free month of service to check it out. So check out pixelcrm.com/upmarket.
I'll go first, Jared. You got a lot of good stuff. So we're going to end on a high note with you. Mine is pretty simple. We were talking about reviews earlier, and that's, the best way in the would you call it the map package? Is that what it's called?
Map pack.
The map pack.
Say that five times fast.
Yeah, I don't want to. If you want to be in the map, if you want to do well in the map pack, get more reviews. So my action item for our listeners is, if you're not already, maybe develop a system to ask for reviews. But even if you just want to text one client, just make at least one ask for a review on your Google business page, because it does help so much. So I really want everyone to get in the habit of asking, because for the most part, if you don't ask, people are not going to do it. So just
100% correct. Exactly true. Exactly true. My action item is to go upload some photos to your Google business profile today. It's not hard.
Oh.
It'll just take a few minutes. Upload photos, put a caption in them, geotag them maybe if you want to. Maybe you don't want to because of privacy concerns. But upload some photos and then set a repeating calendar reminder every week to just upload a photo or two to your Google business profile.
Oh, wait a sec. So we're uploading photos every week to our Google business profile?
If you can, yeah.
Well, we can. We produce a lot of photos.
Exactly. That's why. It's a competitive advantage.
Oh.
What happens if you upload all your videos to TikTok and then never come back for the year?
Right. Well, see, but that's the thing is I think is my Google business page as a static thing, right? That it's not social media. I shouldn't. So no. I'm an idiot.
You don't need to think
about
it
like podcast TikTok and call me an idiot.
But yeah, that's my point. Like, I'd rather have you upload one photo a day for 365 days than 365 photos at the first day and then walk away.
Got it. Dude. All right.
More to your to-do list.
Yeah, that's fine. Well, I'll have AI do it. And for us, we're uploading photos of our work, of our team, all the stuff.
All the stuff. And I don't want to put we're having fun here. I don't want to put an overemphasis on doing it frequently all the time. Like, the most important thing is get photos and try to keep it updated and fresh. Whether you're doing it once a week, whether you're doing it once a month, whether you're doing it every day, I wouldn't worry too much about getting in the weeds on that. What I would worry about is you have a competitive advantage over others in that you're producing media for a living. Go make a habit of publishing it on Google Business Profile the same way you publish it, hopefully to your website, hopefully to your social media accounts.
Yeah. Well, and that, and that's the crux of it. You just brought it up, and that's the thing. That's why we had to hire a social media person, because it's like, we are a media company, and it's like, why does our social media suck? Why are we not putting, why are we not posting? We produce all this content. Why are we not posting it? Well, because we're doing all this other shit. So now we have someone who can do that for us. So
it's a lot.
Great.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and it's fantastic. I love it. Jared, thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it. Really looking forward to meeting you in person. Really looking forward to your presentation. I'm pretty convinced it's going to be great. And so, yeah, thank you also, of course, to all our sponsors. Thank you for keeping this podcast going. And absolutely, Chelsea, Mark, everyone else on the team. And then, of course, our listeners, thank you so much. Without you guys, we don't have anything here. So always appreciate you being on board with us. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Upmarket is a production of Upmarket Studios. This episode was produced by Chelsea Froelich and edited by Bethany Diedrich. Thank you so much for listening, and we really hope you listen to the next one too. In the meantime, our wish for you is to not have to shoot any Friday night Twilight shoots. Thank you for everything.